I should turn the sound
That
off.
was my voice.
Yeah, I know.
Right, who's starting this then?
It's all over, but the cry, and nobody's crying but me.
Oh my God!
What is it?
Trampoline! Trampoline!
He said, what now? Please don't bring home any more old crutches.
Oh, no, you don't! That trampoline is mine!
And that's how we all felt when we heard that the Fallout 4 trailer was finally up.
Yay.
Welcome, everybody, to a special podcast all about the Fallout 4 trailer. We'll be talking for 6 hours about a 3-minute ad. And I'm Duke from the Veteran Gamers. Introduce yourself, guys.
Oh, yes, my name is Richard Webster from the Gaming for the Elderly podcast.
I'm Jason Statham.
We're so lucky to have these fine people here.
Wow.
Now,
Yeah,
I'm
actually,
Richard
that's
Webster, big bad daddy from the Overseas Connection podcast.
Right. And that's
Yeah,
Chinny
whatever.
from Gamers as well.
Yeah.
Now, we are all huge fans of Bethesda. Excuse me, 2 of us are huge fans of Bethesda. One of us is a GTA fanboy, Rockstar fanboy, who managed to sneak in here for some reason. But
I love Fallout.
he
love
does love
Fallout.
even though he never played Fallout New Vegas
That's true. It's still in my thing. It's on my to-do list.
in your thing. Imagine if I said, I love Rockstar, but I've never played GTA 5.
That would just be crazy.
Yeah, you'd be
Why
nuts.
would you?
Yeah, exactly.
why would
Okay,
you do
so
that?
So
Go on.
we've had some big news. First of all, we didn't know for sure that we were going to get Fallout 4 news before E3, because we knew that Bethesda had an E3 thing set up. They were going to have a conference, and we said, "Oh, they're going to announce Fallout 4 there." And then, like a week ago, Bethesda's website had this countdown on it. All of a sudden, the test pattern. Da, da, da.
Da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah, it was very exciting. And then.
It was completely out of the blue, wasn't it? No one knew that was coming.
Yeah, so far as I know.
Yeah.
Shinny, did you know it was coming?
What?
The countdown?
What? What's that?
No, nobody
What is
knew.
that? Oh, the TV show.
Yeah, The Price is Right.
All right. Okay. Yeah, I knew that was coming. The TV show. Yeah. That's
Right. So anyway, then the trailer appeared, and it's been the subject of endless speculation ever since. And we're all very excited because we love Fallout, and we're looking forward to next-gen Fallout stuff. And the first thing we obviously need to talk about is the graphics aren't as good as The Witcher 3. Oh, my God. Can you
Oh my
believe
God.
about this? I can't believe how pathetic people are. Have you all heard
I
this?
think I think the graphics are fine. Like they're not like the bee's knees, but I think they're fine. I think if people remind themselves of what Fallout 3 actually looked like, and then go back to this, they're probably in for a shock because
Yes.
it's been a while, and people remember things quite differently to what they actually were. I think there's a screenshot on Reddit as well where it puts Fallout 3 and Fallout 4 next to each other, and it goes, "Look, there you go. They look exactly the same." Lol.
Right.
So
Yeah, I've heard that because I've been dipping into the Fallout 4 Bethesda forum, the officials one, these last few days, and I've seen so many times people saying, "Oh, the graphics are only slightly better than Fallout 3."
Are you on drugs?
One dickhead actually said it looks like a PS2 game.
Wow.
I think he was just troll baiting, but people are saying this game looks slightly better than Fallout 3. And I went back and played Fallout 3, and I've got some high-res textures. And even then, it doesn't look as good as Fallout 4. Yeah, like you said, Mike, it's not The Witcher 3 or, Blood... what was that one? Or The Order 1884.
1886, Rich. Come on.
1886.
oh, Rich,
We
But
got to
it's not-
start over. All right, I'll play the Simpsons
this
thing
is
again.
ridiculous.
All right.
Can't do that.
Yeah, it's
What are you
not
doing?
as good as
Rich,
that.
you
But,
laughing? Why did you laugh over the intro? We're doing it again.
Oh, we got to do it again.
all right, start again.
Yeah. Trampoline!
Bethesda aren't graphics pioneers; they're world builders.
It's true. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, that they use they use great technology that's at around today. And looking at this game, it's got great graphics. Yeah, they're not the best graphics. It's not like The Witcher 3, but like I said, they're world builders. The amount of stuff in their worlds doesn't compare. Even from what I've heard of The Witcher 3, because I've not played it yet, because I just don't have the time. Although there's a lot of stuff, the clutter and things like that just isn't there like it is in Skyrim or Fallout, where like all these things move.
Broken vacuum cleaner engines in The Witcher 3. So suck on that.
Yeah. So it's either great graphics or broken vacuum cleaners.
Exactly. Yeah. I know what I'm picking. My nose. Anyway, so do we want to go through the trailer first, or do we want to talk about our relationship to Fallout in the past?
Can I talk about the audacity that somebody at work said to me?
Yes.
Who shall remain nameless because I like the fella, but he said.
But you only work with one person.
No, I don't. There's 6 of us.
Oh, really?
So I walked in and I said to this person, I said, "Hey, what about Fallout 4?" And this is while the countdown was still going. It hadn't happened yet. And he was like, "It's not Fallout 4. They've not announced it yet." I was like, "It's Fallout 4, man. Like, they're going to put..."
Look, it's Bethesda's test pattern. It's a countdown. What do you think it is?
It could be a remastered edition. It could be Fallout Online. I was like, hang on. Right. So Bethesda made a countdown website for a remastered edition. I don't really think this is going to happen.
This is going to be awesome.
And then I got into another debate with somebody else saying, "Hey, I think Fallout's boring." And I said, "Hang on, let me get my sword while I stab you."
Yeah.
And then after I did that,
because they were talking about this on Twitter. I don't remember who it was, but I think it was Toxic Shock, and it was all. He said, "I tried to get into it and I just couldn't do it. It's too big. It's too overwhelming." And I just can't relate to that, because even if a world is enormous, I'm just like, okay, I don't need to explore all of it. I'll just do the main quest or whatever it is. I'm not bothered by worlds that are too big.
Well, this guy was saying that it was boring because he feels like the combat is crap, right?
Ugh.
And I said janky. I think the combat is janky, definitely. Like, it ain't like the fluid. It's not Call of Duty here.
It's okay, man. It doesn't need to be fluid.
And I was saying, like, the reason why I play it is because of situations such as like in Fallout 3, where somebody says, "Oh, there's a camp over there with kids, and they're all being kidnapped, and you need to save them." I was like, "Yeah, no problem. I'll go over. No worries. See you later." I go over and they go, "Hey, yeah, we are kidnapping kids, and if you kidnap some more, I'll give you 500 caps." I was like, "Yeah, all right, thanks a lot, cheers." It's
Can I
moments
kidnap
like
the person
that.
who told me about this camp and I promised to save people?
It's moments like
Hey, I
that.
got good news about that camp. What? You're a slave in it now. Ah, damn it.
I got good news about that camp. It is doing fantastic business. It is really a nice turnover on it.
I got these new shoes for the soul of a child.
Little Timmy down the road. These trainers, you're looking at them. You know what I mean? It's fantastic. It's stories like that. I feel like is why I play Fallout. And he did say fair enough, but he just couldn't get past this combat thing in his head. He was
There's
just
a guy
like,
at my school who teaches with me who goes, "Oh, I found Fallout 3 was way too easy." And I'm like, dude, I can't relate to that. I've never said that about a video game.
Maybe you played it on easy.
No, he had it like super hard, but he was like, the VAT system just made everything so easy. I was like, dude, you play games for the different reasons from me. That's all I can say about that. So did y'all play any of the earlier Fallout games, or was Fallout 3 the first one you ever got into?
I'd never heard of the other Fallout games before 3.
I had them. I bought the Fallout collection. I played.
Oh, he's such a hipster, isn't he, Mr. Webster? I had them before they was popular. I was on their forums before they was even released.
No, I bought them later after playing New Vegas.
Fair enough.
I actually played Brotherhood of Steel way back in the day. I played it with the Duchess, actually. It was an isometric sort of action game. This was before VATS. It was not turn-based. And it was interesting because I feel like I got a sense for the world and the vault system. So I sort of knew the layout of a standard vault before I played Fallout 3, but a lot of that memory just evaporated as soon as I started playing Fallout 3 because, of course, it's such a different experience. So.
Yeah, the first games are really, really deep. It's like, I don't know if you've ever played Daggerfall, Duke.
No.
No, it's like putting that on. It's like, obviously, the graphics aren't as good and all that sort of stuff, but there's a lot of substance there, and that's what I felt with Fallout 1.
I think I played Fallout 1 for like, after New Vegas and everything, I think I played Fallout 1 for like an hour, and it was just so hard. Like, I kept dying because it's very brutal. It's all about, like, you better find some stuff, and then I didn't, and I tried to punch, rad scorpions or whatever.
That was a fascinating story, dude.
It was
You better find
story.
some stuff.
That's the short version. I was going to tell the long version, but I'll tell that another time. Maybe I'll tell that on the Veteran Gamers later. So, yes, well, what is something you guys hope will be in Fallout 4 that hasn't been in any of the other Fallout games?
Well, I think which is pretty clear from the trailer. There will be pre-nuclear strike stuff.
Do you think we'll be able to explore the pre-nuclear?
Now, what I'm hoping is that it's a little bit more involved than the first 2 hours is you run into the vault while everything goes to shit. Now, that's what I think will happen, but I don't think that's that exciting. I think that's more for shock value.
I just read that as something in the trailer. I didn't expect to think that we would get to play that. Do you think we'll see that, Rich?
Well,
that would be awesome. Don't get me wrong.
There's a theory going around that in the Scullery screenshot, where you see the mysterious stranger guy and it's all dark and looming.
Right.
There's a bar there called Memory Den. And if you remember from Fallout 3, one of the missions, you do that virtual reality
simulation thing there.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, girl, she was so cute.
Yeah,
telling you to kill people.
People are saying that maybe you can flashback to that sort of stuff.
Interesting. I like that.
Pure speculation, but it's just something that people have pulled out of thin air.
Yeah. It seems interesting, the idea that, because we haven't really, we had that little part in Fallout 3, but it was obviously a very tiny and very separate part of that game. It was this tiny little neighborhood, and it's just one little cul-de-sac, and like 4 houses, and that's it. So for them to have a whole another city where you could explore, that would be interesting.
The most likely thing, I think, is it's probably the cutscene at the beginning of the game to introduce people to the Fallout universe who don't know about it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like a quick, this is what happened. And the only reason it mirrors the future and the past together is because that place is somewhere you can go in the game.
Right.
So I think that's probably what it is. It's probably just like the opening video.
Instead of growing up in the vault, you...
No, literally that before the credit.
Wrong.
Before the menu.
Wrong. Right. It'll be in the fucking game. You'll play it, and it'll go, oh, look, this is the first 2 hours of the game because we couldn't do what we did in Fallout 3. So here we go. Yeah. And what I hope is that it's a little bit more involved. Like, you've got to uncover a mystery that was in sort of pre-war, and then you have to play bits of it or something. But this might be like the first time we go pre-war in a Fallout, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's not something we've done yet.
No.
It's true.
And it looks like they've put a lot of effort into the world design from the past, so it makes sense that you'd probably use it in a gameplay perspective.
Yeah. Indeed.
We have a question. We have a question in the thing.
Yes.
There's a few people here. Kiwi Tell. I'm guessing he might be from New Zealand. One handsome devil said, if you did go back in time, how much would they allow you to do? You couldn't do anything that would seriously affect the timeline and history of the game story.
He calls it the Doctor Who dilemma. That's the Back to the Future dilemma. Hello.
Yeah.
Got to get your
basically,
or you're going to vanish.
Yeah, I doubt any sort of pre-war stuff you wouldn't be able to alter anything massively.
Yeah.
You couldn't. Hey, let's just blow up this little tower with a bomb.
The Americans to talk to each other so that it doesn't have.
Let's get diplomatic immunity. No, I don't think there'll be any sort of decision making to be done But the cool thing about Fallout 4, I think, is that it has a thing. Not many games do it, called color.
Yes, I heard about that.
And that's in it. So I'm happy about that. I think
Yeah.
they should keep that in as a
Because
good
the other
feature.
games, to be fair, have been pretty washed out in terms of their colors
Yeah.
palette.
Yeah, it's color. Look it up. Google it. Google
Yeah.
it. So
Yeah, it's very similar to the Fallout mod for Fallout 3, where it made everything all nice. So it looks like that they've really listened to what people wanted to say, and it makes kind of sense because if you look at how well Boston has stood the test of time compared to the Washington D.C. capital, it leads to that theory where Boston wasn't really hit very much.
Right.
Excuse me. And if Boston wasn't hit very much, then the sky wouldn't be kind of like that as much. But in that sense, wouldn't then be less radiated places as well?
Maybe, but maybe it's just, I mean, not actual physical destruction, but it might be, the leaking contamination. But no, that's true. I think that's probably true. But then there's the question about the game development structure, which is, they'll put contaminated places wherever they think they need them. So what surprised you about the Fallout 4 trailer, or what do you think was unusual or weird?
First of all, I'll just get it out in the open. The elephant in the room is the main character speaking.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I never really thought about that until somebody brought it up and said, "Oh, main character's got a voice," and I was like, "Oh yeah, he does." He says, "Come on, boy."
That's never happened in a
does in
Fallout
the
or
trailer.
Elder Scrolls game.
He does in the trailer, but he's never spoke before. He's never spoken in any trailer.
It's true.
And a lot of people aren't happy about that.
I mean, but they had in the trailer for Skyrim, we saw a particular avatar player character saying "Fus Roda," and
Which he does in the game.
well, he does, but you don't have to play as that character. You know what I mean? So it's not as though I don't know.
Yeah, so people are saying it's going to break their immersion because they won't be able to play as particular role-playing characters because
So
their
it's
guy
way
talks.
too early before we know for sure.
I think it might add something because let's be honest, over time games have to change and adapt, and evolve. That's what happens. And if you look at games like Red Dead Redemption and Mass Effect, both amazing stories, different levels of amazing, but they had voice characters and it didn't take away at all from my enjoyment of the game.
Oh no, definitely not. But then again, it required an incorporation of those characters into the cutscenes and so forth. So I think that's not what Bethesda does, and I think it would be weird if they tried it. I don't think they do very well if they did that.
Yeah, I mean,
Could it just be a case of when you select a voice tree, they go, "Oh yeah, I can help you," or "Yeah, I can enslave all the children." He just says it like Mass Effect. He just says it, and there's not much else.
I mean, maybe, but I would be surprised.
It might also be how the character does always have a voice. Generally, he grunts and when he gets hit and stuff. So it might just literally be your character obviously speaks. He's not voiceless, but this is him just in the trailer saying hello to the dog. Doesn't actually speak in the game.
Yeah, it might be. That is possible. We have a thing. By the way, Duke, I think you should play your America soundbite for this person in the chat.
Oh, right.
He's quoted that.
Was not.
Brilliant. He said, "Did you notice that the Pip-Boy was slightly different?"
I don't think I did. But I'll take note of that. It's a good thing
I'll take
to
his word
notice.
for it. I will pause it on the thing. I don't know the intricate details of a Pip-Boy to notice the difference to it.
Well,
But,
there's the
I'll
buttons,
pause it.
there's the switches, and it's always
maybe, but he is from a different vault, so maybe they just had.
well, and it's a very different looking vault door too. That's the other thing.
It is a very different.
There's going to be obviously a balance required between the lore of the world and the way it's always looked, and the new developments in technology that allow for different things to be different.
Yeah, that's a point because you're not going to make it look shit forever. If you can make the models more detailed, they're going to, aren't they? It doesn't necessarily mean the laws changed. It's just that technology is improved.
And people should accept that and realize it. I mean, who cares? I mean, are people like, I don't want the Pip-Boy to be different because it's always been the same way. And blah, blah, blah."
Those people probably want it to still have just 4 pixels.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
So what about the lighting? That's if we touch on the graphics.
I think Samurai Goldfish has sort of had a heart attack in the chat. He says,
Yeah.
"Holy shit, it's coming!"
yes.
That's basically what I said. So the graphics, like, if one of the main things that stood out to me, I'm looking through these screenshots now on that webpage, is the lighting has been massively improved even from Skyrim.
Yeah.
Like everything about it, even like that image of the Deathclaw in like the desert area.
Oh yeah.
It's got volumetric lighting, which they've never really done before. There's like a depth of field there. It's very foggy.
That's
What
just
the hell is
interesting
that?
You can tell.
Yeah, it's a Deathclaw that I show my brother because I was telling my brother.
I know it's Deathclaw. You can tell it's volumetric lighting. What is that? So for those who don't know, like me, what does that mean?
It's to do with how the fog affects the level of clarity and brightness, I think, of the lighting. I'm not 100% sure on how to describe it, but I can kind of know it when I see it.
Okay.
So it's basically how the lighting gets changed if it's obstructed by fog.
Yeah.
I was talking to my brother Daniel about this because he's a massive Fallout fan, and we looked at that picture of the Deathclaw, and then we went on and played New Vegas and paused it on it, or took a screenshot of a Deathclaw.
Yeah.
It's just completely different, like the graphics wise. I can't believe people actually have the unashamed audacity to even suggest this looks the same. I think those people are just bored.
Well, of
Yeah,
That's
and also I think they forget what it looks like.
yeah, like you
I
said,
think
they're
there's an
looking
element.
back and they're thinking it look. Because I mean, don't get me wrong. If I look back and I think about some PlayStation 1 game that I've not played for years, it probably looks fantastic in my head.
Yeah,
Probably looks like this. Probably looks like Fallout 4 in my head. But then you go back and play it and you realise it's not even like that at all. And I think that's what it is. It's like rose tinted, isn't it?
Yeah.
Handsome Devil says, "Is the light thing like diffusion of like light?"
Sure. Why not? Let's go with that.
I think so. Yeah. I think the other thing we haven't really talked about is the dog. Now, we did have a dog in Fallout 3, and it pretty much was named after its purpose, which was dog meat, because it died pretty easily.
Yeah.
Is this Bethesda saying this dog is going to be with you all the time, and it's going to be smarter than usual, or is this just like another dog meat dog? Do you think?
I think it's going to be the companion that you can have pretty early on, by the looks of it, and for the rest of the game, like you can, because in the other Fallout games, there's always a dog meat. It's kind of like a staple of the series. There's always like a dog meat
Yeah.
Yeah.
that you can have follow you around. And I think what they're trying to do is, I think Peter Molyneux now works for Bethesda. And he's basically saying,
Guys, why don't we put a dog in it? Not again, Pete. Steve, just put a fucking dog in it and keep it happy, really. Jesus.
yeah.
Yeah. No, I
that's
think
what it
it's.
is.
I think this dog's going to be like. Well, I don't want to shoot myself in the foot. I was going to say smart as shit, but I think I was going to say smarter and have some sort of mechanic to it, so he can search out things, he can fight, he can look after himself. I think it's going to be a way more sophisticated dog than in 3.
Yeah, because in the beginning of the video, he's sniffing around the apartment, isn't he? The house and things. Maybe he can like track down buried treasure or something.
Oh, well, he did that in Fallout 3. You could send him to get ammo or
Yeah,
health.
exactly. So he might be able to do that, but maybe like expand on that, maybe.
Yeah. Oh, sure. And like maybe there'll be parts of a quest where it's like I can't get through this area, get under there, under the wall or whatever it is, boy, and then go around the other side.
It could be, yeah,
Sort
more
of-
environmental sort of interaction and stuff.
Type of thing, right? We have to urinate on this sensor in order to get into the Protectron factory. I'm all out. I just urinated for half an hour. Dog meat.
Yeah.
You can piss on it, and then
That sounds exactly what I'm expecting.
this
I think-
robot
well-
needs to be humped by a canine penis. So dog meat. All right.
I think I showed Tara this trailer, and I said, look at this trailer, Tara. It's pretty cool, and she doesn't really know much about Fallout. And she says, why is it always a German Shepherd dog in these games? Why isn't it like a pug? Imagine if you just had a pug. If I was out in the Fallout wasteland, I would probably find a pug and go, fucking great. Now I've got this thing to look after, as well as everything else to fight.
I think it's just because they've probably thought that they make the best kind of like police dogs, really, don't they? That's why they're German.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why they've thought, but it would be interesting to have like a Rottweiler or a Pit Bull or something.
Or a little Yorkshire
Chihuahua.
Terrier. Just think, who the fuck's he going to fight?
Yeah.
He's useless.
maybe that's the point.
And he
maybe
just barks at everything.
Maybe their
Yeah.
species just didn't survive.
That'd be great. I think we should do that. Fallout 5.
Pulling it now, Fallout 5. You heard it here first. Chihuahuas and shit.
Yeah. Do that. Right, what else? You noticed some things, Duke, in your trailer breakdown.
I did. I talked about it for an hour.
Yeah, it was good.
Thank you. So, yeah, I don't know. I think it's going to be more Fallout, isn't it? Like, I'm really looking forward to all the new places and the new adventures. And apparently, Boston is like, I don't know. We haven't obviously had it officially confirmed, but there are a number of places that Verbal Rob pointed to, and we've got these landmarks and things that make it clear that yes, this is going to be Boston. So,
and if you look on the video where it shows sort of the really sort of panoramic views of the skyline of Boston, I mean, you can tell massively straight away this is a built up place. It's not. It's like it was kind of a letdown in New Vegas, I think. Where from the distance, when you're looking and you see New Vegas in the distance and all the lights, and you're like, yeah, I want to go there. And you go there, there's like 4 buildings.
You could even go to, yeah.
Yeah, but it looks almost like a kind of like Assassin's Creed.
Well, thanks for spoiling New Vegas for me.
Yeah.
It's almost like Assassin's Creed scale, almost, in the size. So I'm wondering, like...
Right. The question's going to be, how many of those buildings can we go into? How many of them have stuff in them?
How many NPCs are there going to be?
Right.
Is another question. Like, you can't just have a massive city and 4 people.
Right.
One of them a shop owner.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's that the scale of that. I mean, and that shows off the improvements they've made to the graphics engine as well. Because,
yeah,
I mean, from a distance, Fallout 3 and Skyrim stuff looks turd. I mean, there's mods to improve the stuff from a distance, but they look quite good in this. So what I'm hoping for is they've improved the performance of the engine so much that they can start having like a lot more NPCs on screen, which we haven't really seen yet.
Samurai Goldfish says, anyone think that the paid mods crap was just a taste of something we might see with Fallout 4?
All right, careful. We got some different perspectives in here, Samurai.
They actually have a Skyrim modder, Samurai, so
Yeah, exactly.
watch out. No, I
Deserve to get paid.
that is the general consensus, I think, between the community, is that they sort of think that it will be coming with Fallout 4 from the start. So there's less of a complaint to be had. A lot of the complaints was because Skyrim was being changed. If you have it from Fallout 4 from the beginning, they don't move on it. There's nothing you can do. It's just tough shit. This is just the way it is.
Yeah, just the way it is.
So people do think that, and I think that myself. I think we'll probably see that from the launch.
The other thing I was going to mention as well is I really like the idea of the stadium being sort of like the hub area in Fallout. Like what's the name of the stadium in Boston, Duke?
Fenway Park.
Fenway Park. Like it's clearly some sort of like city, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
Like a city in this new. But it's like a built-up area in a stadium, and I always thought, if there was a nuclear apocalypse in my hometown, that the football stadium would be a great place to go because it's easily sort of fended off and stuff. So I don't know, this weird little sort of idea that I've had for years might actually come true in this game.
Well, you're all set in Minecraft because you have a football stadium right outside your house in Minecraft.
I know, yeah. I'm not fucking happy about that still. But do you think, is it too late for me to play New Vegas now? Do you think?
No, definitely not.
I personally think you should just don't worry about New Vegas.
Why?
Because a little birdie told me Fallout 4 is coming.
Yeah, but it's not coming for another 6 months.
In 2 weeks' time, I heard.
That's another point. This is another controversy. Is when is this game coming out?
Yeah, that's a good point. No, just to go back, I was only messing. You should try New Vegas. It's really, really fun.
I will.
There's
I will
mods
try.
and shit for it, like weapon mods and that. I was of the mind that it was next year, but Bethesda said in an interview, I can't remember exactly when it was, But Bethesda said in an interview that their next game, which now happens to be this, will have the shortest time between announcement and release they've ever done.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
and they usually announce beginning of the year, release fall that year. So if they've announced now, I reckon October, maybe earlier.
Well, I'd be all right with that.
I think, yeah. The more I think about it, the more as time passes, I think it's coming out this year. And I made a bold prediction on the show, Duke. I don't know if you remember, but I said I think Fallout 4 will be announced and released this year.
Well, I hope so.
I think that's true. I think they're just hyping it up so much that it would almost like hurt it if they released it next year, because the hype and the excitement for it would sort of die down. Other games would come out, and now like everybody's talking Fallout 4. Obviously, E3 sort of coming up, so there'll be other stuff in the pipeline. But Fallout 4, I feel like they're going to just say they're going to show a big gameplay trailer at E3, and they're going to walk through it, and they're going to show you some stuff, and they're going to show you the new VATs, and then they'll drop the mic and say, "Yeah, November 2015. See you later." Because I think it's all good. Everybody's like just buzzing about it. It's perfect, and it's just the right time, the perfect storm. There are some big games coming out this year, but no like heavy hitters like Fallout 4 that's coming out. I can't think of anything, and if there is, I don't care because it's Fallout 4.
Yeah,
that's a good point. Like the only big games that I can think off the top of my head that we know are coming soon are like the likes of Batman. Just Cause 3, that's probably going to sell quite well. The Witcher 3 is like new, so that's sort of taken on the whole open world RPG thing. But if Fallout 4 comes out quite quickly, I can see a lot of people putting The Witcher down, get onto Fallout.
Yeah.
Especially fans of Fallout who are really getting onto The Witcher, because there's a gap in the market right now, isn't there, for open world RPGs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think The Witcher has had a lot of success because there is nothing else out there right now that's doing it.
True, it's true. I think it's just, it would shock me now if they just went, "Hey, 2016." I'd be like, wow, they really, they really created all this hype just to sort of let everybody down a little bit. And it's been, 2011 was Skyrim. Like, what have they been doing?
Yeah, really.
So
put it out already. Just put it out today.
See, they could do that. They could very well get on stage and go, "Right, guys, you can download it right now."
Okay, so this question is talking about, is anyone hoping for some kind of multiplayer? To be honest, unless they get rid of VATs, which I don't want them to, I don't know how you do multiplayer, and therefore I don't want them to.
I think, well, due to their beaming success of Elder Scrolls Online, I think they're going to avoid any multiplayer, and I don't think anybody wants to play Fallout to come across real people. It's all about just dropping yourself into this world full of mystery and odd characters and stuff. And right. I remember like me and my friends sort of talking about this sort of game, but co-op. But I really feel like we've played many co-op games since then. I feel like this sort of game just doesn't lend itself very well. You're making decisions, you're meeting odd characters, you're on your own. I remember the first time playing Fallout, and I just, I remember like it was dark and I couldn't fast travel anywhere, and I was just stuck, and I was like, oh, so I just wait, okay, and it was just an odd feeling to be out on the wasteland at night, and I just think co-op would just ruin it, and multiplayer, yeah, like you say, Duke, I don't even know how they would do it, but hey.
Yeah. Okay, so we've talked about location, we've talked about the trailer, we've talked about Fallout 3, we've talked a little bit about New Vegas. What about factions? Anybody have any idea about like what kind of factions we're going to see here, or what sort of main storyline we're looking at? Because in Fallout 3, of course, it was finding your father after he left you in the vault. In Fallout New Vegas, it's kind of a revenge fantasy type thing, and dealing with this war between the NCR and Kaisar's Legion. I don't know. What do you think we're going to see in this world that we get into for Fallout 4?
I honestly think it's sort of like there's always a goal and there's always a sort of quest for the main character to do, like find out something. And I honestly think it's something to do with the modern day stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I think like something happened in the modern day, and he has to chase it and he has to find it and uncover it. That's what I think. As far as factions, I don't really follow the factions very well. I know there's like the Brotherhood of Steel and stuff, and they're sort of good but not good. I don't really know many of the others because in New Vegas factions play a massive, sort of larger part than 3, so they're sort of lost on me a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think the factions are going to play as much of a role in this as they do in New Vegas. Just from looking at the world, I don't see it being a massive faction game purely because Vegas did it. It was quite a big deal in Skyrim. You had, the Imperial Legion against the Stormcloaks. That was a big faction thing. Something tells me they're going to sort of move away from that a little bit. I'm not saying there won't be factions, but I think there'll be less focus on factions. I think it'll be something to do, to be honest, with the Institute. I don't know if you know who the Institute are.
Yeah, the people who did the Old World Blues, right?
They're the
in there.
MIT. That's what they're called now. The Institute. That building features in almost every single shot.
Oh, really? Okay.
The trailer, yeah. It's almost always in the background there, and they're, according to the law, they're working on kind of like Android technology.
Yeah.
Because they're quite advanced. I think that's one of the reasons why Boston has prospered by the looks of it.
Yeah.
Is because they've got MIT there, the Institute. So that's kind of like a faction in a way, but. So I think it'd be something to do with the Institute and maybe robots.
Yeah.
Do you think VATS is going to be changed a lot, or do you think they're going to be doing similar things?
See, I don't want it to be, but I think it probably will be because it's the type of thing where, they want to look. The reviews are going to complain if it's not innovative in some way, right? And the only real advance we had between 3 and New Vegas was more kinds of ammo. You can mod weapons. You can put microchips in your head, and new world, new places, new people. See, and that's the thing is that I don't know. I'm the type of player who doesn't want a lot of new things in terms of the gameplay. I want new things in terms of the world and people. The gameplay is totally working for me. So I don't know.
You're like basically FIFA, but in RPG.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what kind of I'm happy with as well, being a fan of the Elder Scrolls. The series as a whole has changed a lot, but between games, for me personally, the gameplay's remained pretty faithful to what you want.
Right.
And I like that. I like that about Fallout as well. Yeah, there was things added on with New Vegas, but to be honest, a lot of that stuff probably could have just been left out. They had a lot of customization for the people that wanted it, but I think with Fallout 4, there will be a lot of customization, but I think they're probably going to stick to a sort of more, I hate the word, but more streamlined formula. Similar to Fallout 3.
Right. We saw that in The Witcher 3, right? Witcher 2 has a lot more complexity with the combat and the oils and the potions, and while those
don't get me started on the oils.
What?
Don't get me started on the fucking oils.
Well, I was going to say, in Witcher 3, there's obviously some of those elements still there, but it's not nearly as core, as essential, because, they're trying to sell to a wider and wider audience. So it's weird because they have to do like 3 things at once. They have to keep the essence of the game the same. They have to appeal to a wider audience, but they also have to put new things in because those reviewers are always like, it needs more new things, it needs more new things.
Yeah, definitely. I think with the VATS, I don't think there's much you can really change to make it better or improve it. I thought the VATS was pretty cool as it was. What about you guys?
Well, I love it.
That's what I was thinking. Like, if you had to change it, I don't know what you would do. But the only reason I think that it has changed is because we hadn't seen anything like that before, right? And we haven't really seen anything like it since. But because it's such a new mechanic, they probably found out newer ways to improve on it, or think they can. I don't know. It's just it's a really new thing, really. Like we hadn't seen it, so that's why I think they probably changed it or tweaked it to try and like you say, streamlined it, like try and make it a little bit more approachable.
And the other thing is it's a mechanic that we never saw ripped off. Like usually when someone puts in a new mechanic that works really well, we see other developers borrow from it. But we haven't seen that with VATS. And I don't know if that's because it's much more difficult to implement probably, or if it's just because people don't generally love it the way I do. I don't know.
I don't know. I like it. I really don't know why it hasn't been ripped off. Maybe it's just such a Fallout thing. It's such a stamp on Fallout that anybody goes anywhere near something like that, people will go, "Oh, that's just Fallout. You can't do that."
Right.
Yeah, the only other thing that I can think of that closely resembles it maybe is Deadeye in Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that, like you guys have said, like people have seem to have definitely stayed away from that sort of mechanic.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know how to say his name. Kiyu Tel says he disagrees. He looks like the Enclave and the Brother of the Steel will be important. There is an enlistment poster in the video as well, I think, for the Enclave.
Yeah, see, there's a problem there with the Brotherhood of Steel that I'm reading, because I'm not massive on the lore like some of the fans of Fallout are, but what I'm reading is that Brotherhood of Steel shouldn't really have much of a place in Boston. And that some people feel like they're just putting them in there because it's like, sell more games, show the Brotherhood of Steel armor. That's what people want to see.
Yeah, it's so recognizable though, isn't it?
It's that's like the emblem of the game. But it's funny because I never liked wearing it. When I played Fallout 3, I was like, no,
it's not. It's not the best armor at all, really. Yeah. It's rubbish.
But it does. I mean, it lets you be a different kind of soldier. You know what I mean? Like it's much more protective, and if you want to go be, a tank, you basically can be.
Yeah, I like you guys. I didn't really use it. I maybe tried it out for a little bit, used the minigun, and then just give up and went back to me spiky armor or whatever.
Yeah. Do you think they're going to be doing any? Fallout was a very sort of good cop, bad cop game, wasn't it? There's a lot of games these days, especially like The Witcher and so on, where everything's a grey area. I think Game of Thrones is sort of influenced by it as well, where every decision you make sort of leads a bad path. Whereas Fallout wasn't really like that. It was very much like you can be a hero or a villain. Do you think they're going to keep that going?
I mean, yes. I would say that I don't know, like in Fallout New Vegas, I think they went more gray because when it comes to, okay, so in the main storyline, you choose between basically the NCR and the Kaiser's Legion, and you had a couple of other choices. But on the strip, when you made your choices, like there weren't totally positive choices. Like in Fallout 3, one of the first choices you have to make is, do you blow up Megaton or not? And if you don't, you help the town, everyone loves you, you defuse the bomb, et cetera, et cetera. But if you
do, you don't have to do all that work.
Exactly. And you go to Tenpenny Tower and you get to live there. But then there's the question about the ghouls, right? And if you say no to the ghouls, then they suffer and die. And if you say yes to the ghouls, then spoilers, everybody in Tenpenny Tower dies.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
so I feel like there was a little bit of nuance there.
I hope they do bring that back
in Vegas.
I think with the choice, they are going to push it a bit more. I think they were limited a lot by the hardware. I mean, we can sit here all we want and say like we wanted it to be more and more diverse, more consequence, but you could only do so much with 512 megs of RAM on the 360. I think now that they're going full current gen, I think, and with the technology and stuff, I definitely think we're going to see that, because I think that's what they wanted to try and do, but they never quite implemented it enough.
Yeah.
And Mass Effect, again, that's an example of people that had the potential, but it kind of fell away. It was like, remember this guy you punched once? Well, there he is. Say hello. It's like, that's not really, who gives a fuck?
Yeah, and I think, it's the type of thing where it'll be, I mean, as I've said before, it's more a matter of, like, designing all those branching possibilities and not having it always come back to one spot. Because in New Vegas, no matter what path you went down, you were going to have that final fight on the Hoover Dam. Like, it was going to go down there. And so I think it would be interesting if finally a game developer, and I don't know if this might be happening in The Witcher or not, but, if you had, and the same thing with Skyrim, you're going to fight Alduin at the end. Like, that's going to be your final fight. I think it'd be really interesting if
are you just spoiling everything for me now?
Exactly.
New Vegas, Skyrim.
Right. So my point is that it would be really cool if this game had, like 3 different possibilities where you end up in one case, you end up in, just for the sake of example, you end up in North Boston, one you're in downtown and one you're in South Boston or whatever. You know what I mean? For that final moment. But that would require making 3 epic feeling ends to the game, which that's 3 times the development.
Yeah, I think one thing they're going to try and do, I think, is smaller impacts that have a larger thing. So people have said, like, well, when you fix a town, why doesn't it get better or something? So they'll do things like that. I think they'll do things where, like, if you help out an NPC early on, like a Wastelander, you might meet them later on and they might give you this massive quest that you get some special armor or whatever.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
They'll definitely do something like that, and they'll expand upon the Radiant system as well with what they did with Skyrim, and add on to that as well. You know how like things can just pop up out of nowhere, and the whole Red Dead random encounter thing that they were trying to do. I think they'll improve on that as well, because there was random encounters in Fallout 3. I don't know if you were ever walking around and just started hearing bombs going off. The system wasn't really as well designed as it is in Red Dead and in Skyrim, so you kind of missed a lot of it. You were like, "Where's that bomb coming from?" Looking around. But so I think they'll improve on that. I think there'll be a lot more random encounters, which I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, and random encounters that go somewhere, because that's the thing. And even in Skyrim, like whenever you had a random encounter, it was like the orc who needs to die a noble death or whatever it is, like a one-time thing. And in Red Dead, of course, it sometimes became huge, multiple parts to a storyline.
I'd just like to acknowledge Scoop Dog, which is a fantastic name. He's been saying, is it true that Fallout 4 is not going to console? It's in the news at the moment that Fallout 4 isn't coming to last-gen consoles, 360 and PS3. That's what's in the news at the moment. So I don't know if he's getting confused or he read something wrong, but it is coming to the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. But as we all know, if you don't want to be a stupid peasant like myself and you want to be part of the hierarchy of the PC master race, then you should join it on the PC.
And hopefully my machine will run it for more than 20 minutes without crashing.
Yeah, that might be a DLC pack that you might have to download.
Yeah.
So what about like DLC, like you just touched on there? What sort of things would you like to see as parts of DLC against the other games? Because from what I remember, Fallout 3 had 5 DLCs. Some of them were pretty good, some of them weren't. Vegas, it seemed as if a lot of the DLC was just...
I was not impressed by the Vegas DLC at all.
Yeah, it was kind of like reminding me very much of Saints Row type stuff.
Right. And that's the thing. The Fallout 3 DLC, okay, so Brotherhood of Steel was one of them. Or what was it called?
No,
it wasn't called Brotherhood of Steel. It was called like something Steel. Broken Steel, that's what it was called. And it had an adventure on it, and you were going to deal with the Enclave, and that's fine. The thing that was most important about that is it let you play the game again after the end of the game. Because Fallout always
everybody complained. Oh my god.
Right. It's insane. They always do this thing or 3 in Vegas do, where when you finish playing the game, it's over. It's like the end. And I mean, narratively speaking, that's fine, but I don't want to do that. Skyrim did it right. You finish the main quest line, now go back into the world and keep exploring. Like, that's what I want to do. So they should build that into the game from day one. Like, it should not have to.
I think they will. I think Point Lookout.
Yeah.
I think Point Lookout was one of their best ones, where it was a completely new area, new enemies, and it had a completely different feel to it. So I hope they do that. What did they do for Skyrim DLC?
So there was Dragonborn, which was you going and fighting. It was a new area, but it was an area we had seen before in another game.
Okay.
So it was. I didn't really care for Dragonborn all that much. I mean, it was kind of interesting because you got to know one of the Daedric lords a lot more. What was his name, Rich? Or something.
What?
The Dragonborn DLC, Daedric.
Oh, I don't know off the top of my head, mate.
Anyway, there's a guy in the chat called Old Nemo.
Hermanus Mora?
Hermanus Mora. Thank you.
I don't know if he's being serious. Tell me about Fallout 4. My son is going crazy about it, and I don't know about it. It's a video game that is going to be very, very good.
Yes.
That's pretty much... The thing is with Fallout, that I'll go. I was going to talk about this actually. I hadn't played a game like Fallout before, 3, and I didn't really know what to expect, you know. And I was so used to sort of,
after Oblivion. Is that right, Rich?
Yeah, Oblivion came out in 06. It's
Yeah.
come out, I think.
Yeah.
in-
Because that was the
08?
first person open
2008.
world game I ever played. So. Go
yeah.
ahead.
So this came out, and I was like, okay, I sort of think I'm getting it now. I'm getting it, and yeah, what I was shocked at, because I'm so used to, you know, in GTA, this is the sort of games that I'm used to, where somebody gives you a mission, right? And they go, right, here's your next mission, and here's your next mission. And I remember doing like the 10 penny tower stuff, and I did all these favors for all these people. It was like, if you do this, then we got 10 penny tower. I was like, oh, okay, sweet. Then I go up to them and go, yeah, what do you want? I was like, I just saved, you know, the tower, and I thought we were friends now. It's like, yeah, I've got nothing to say to you now. Bye. I'm like, oh. You know, so I do hope, I think you touched on it earlier, Rich, I do hope that you improve a 10, you sort of see an improvement, you see like there's a follow-up to some of the quests. I think The Witcher 3, I've heard, has done this much more sophisticated approach of doing this. But, you know, like you see an improvement to things, and you see that people are interacting, and the favors that you did for people, they're really grateful, and there's some sort of big payoff. Because for me, Fallout 3, as great of a game it was, I did a lot of, you know, quests for people, and then there was like, yeah, thanks for that. I saved your wife, your daughter, and I killed this massive fucking thing for you. And the best thing you got to say for me is good morning.
Right.
Fuck right off. So I hope that it just sort of evolves.
Makes it right. And that's, I think someone mentioned earlier, like one of the things that they need to do, I think, is to show, and I wanted this in Skyrim too, and they never gave it really, to show some sort of manifestation physically in the world of you affecting things. Because no game has really done this much, and I think we're due for it. Not that it should be the type of thing where, well, you know, because in Skyrim it's ludicrous, and it was true in Oblivion too. Elder Scrolls games in general, like, okay, you're the head of the Hunters Guild, you're the head of the Thieves Guild, you're the head of the College of Winterhold, you're the head of this, you're the head of that.
Yeah.
And it's just silly for one person to be in charge of all those things. And that's the same. It's just true if you're, you know, revitalizing the city inside the football stadium, and you're bringing this electrical system back to life, and you're doing this and you're doing that. But I think it would be nice if you could have a couple of things where, you know, you do some actions, you defeat all the monsters in the, you know, bottom of the sewer system or whatever, and as a result they can repair the electrical stuff. You play the first half of the game using your Pip-Boy light, and, you know, it's very, very dark in this part of the city, and then the second half of the game you get the lights turned on. Like, that would be a cool thing to see. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The old Nemo, Skulldugger's in the chat, by the way. Good old Skulldugger. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Old Nemo says, is there anything bad for my son in this game, such as adultery and swear words? Well, to be honest, Old Nemo, it's an open book, really, with Fallout. There was child slavery in 3.
I don't think there's adultery and swear words, but there is, like, slavery, cannibalism, sexual jokes.
Unspoken amounts of gore.
Not for kids, no.
A lot of gore as well, yeah. So, you know, it's not for the faint-hearted. I mean,
body parts go flying around. It's not neat and clean.
No.
Yeah.
So we might have skimmed out a little kid on Fallout 4 there, but never mind.
Dang it!
For the good of.
You should have said it's fun and happy. Yeah, look, it's
Yeah, it's like Mario Brothers, but with a dog.
I think
right, is there anything else?
Just touching on to the faction thing, what we've just said. In Morrowind, there was a lot of factions in Morrowind. It was like up to the walls with factions. There were things where you wouldn't be able to join one faction if you were in another.
Right.
And stuff like that. And they took that away, kind of thing, like you said. And that has been one of the major complaints within, let's call them Bethesda games, since then. So, like you said, I hope they bring that back. Like, I can't see why it would make sense for you to be able to work for one team and work for the other one as well, and who are contradicting each other.
To be fair, in New Vegas, there is a point where it's like you're going to have to choose between NCR and Kaiser's Legion. Yeah. And so that, I think, does presage the possibility of, you choosing one team to roll with, so to speak, in this game, or going it alone and taking them all on, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Because that's something I think they've always done is, I mean, not necessarily in Skyrim because you had to. I guess you didn't have to choose between the two sides of the Civil War, but I think they recognize that some people don't want to necessarily join a team or a gang. So
Yeah, some people just want to be a lone wanderer, don't they?
yeah,
Like in
exactly.
Fallout 3. But I think we've pretty much covered everything, haven't we? Like you said, Mike, is there anything else you think we want to touch on?
I don't know. We seem to get more and more people coming in though as we're finishing up. Old Nemo just found out that it's a 5-year-old, his son. And I don't know if he's joking now, but if a 5-year-old knows what Fallout 4 is, I don't know what to say to you.
I
Really,
think he deserves the game if he knows what Fallout 4
I
is.
think
at five.
yeah, I think that's a very advanced 5-year-old. I don't think my nephew, who's 10, knows what it is. But hey, yeah, definitely not for a 5-year-old. The Greenest gamer just said hey.
What about some
I
negatives?
suppose
What about negatives about what we've seen so far?
negatives about what we've seen
It
so
looks too
far.
awesome.
Yeah, it's too awesome. I think if somebody said to me, Mike, Fallout 4 will be exactly what you think it will be, in terms of like just ticking all the boxes. It didn't. The trailer for me, obviously, it was fantastic and it looks great. And Fallout 4, I'm sure, is going to be a fine game. And I really like the music and the sort of it had some sort of narrative to it. But there was nothing in the trailer that made me go, this is completely different to anything else. And I think that's what people get hung up on is, oh yeah, it is going to be just more of the same, but the same is fantastic. I mean, this is what we know right now. E3 might come along, and it might completely change our minds, and it might be vastly different. But I think it's not a negative from me, but I think a lot of people were just sort of like, oh yeah, that's exactly what Fallout is, isn't it? It's nothing else.
And it's important to remember that like there's so little that we can tell about this because it is in essence a teaser trailer.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's a very giving teaser trailer though, which I'm quite happy about.
Yeah, it's very generous teaser trailer, I think.
Oh, sure. But we don't have like gameplay footage. You know what I mean? Like it's all just sort of vistas and so forth.
No, there's the odd flash of like first person view, when he comes out of the tunnel. By the way, that tunnel that you analysed in your breakdown video, the tunnel is like a roof. Like sorry, the entrance to the vault is the roof. Like it opens like a hole, like a sewer
I got you.
thing, which is quite different.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just one of these things where you see a little bit of first person in the game, but I think E3 is where we're going to see all the sexy cool stuff, and we're going to know what the VAT system's like. Old Nemo says, can you sleep with women on it? I don't think so.
No, but there are mods that people can install.
Now, if this 5-year-old is installing mods, I'm very impressed.
Exactly.
One thing
Fox's-
I was a little disappointed about from what we've seen so far, but like I said, we've not seen enough, is the character models didn't seem like they fit in with the rest of the game.
Well, that's always been true. I think Bethesda's had a rocky relationship with their character models. I mean, they've changed so much over the years, and they've always put a very high premium on having characters that are unusual. You know what I mean? Like if Rockstar is mostly focused on humans, they've got them down. They did an amazing job, obviously, in LA Noire, and I know they didn't develop that, but you know what I'm saying. Bethesda's trying to make humans look better and Argonians look better and this and that, and they work on robots for Fallout, and they have ghouls and they have Deathclaws and all the rest of it. So I think they're going to have a harder time making their humans look like they fit in and that they're realistic more. I don't know. That's kind of how I see it.
Some of those robots look really good though. That Protectatron by the crane.
Yeah, I think robots always look cool.
Yeah, that looks really good. And the reflections on the Mr.
Handy.
Mr. Handy,
Exactly.
whatever, with his sugar bombs. I think he looked really good. But yeah, the rest of the game generally looks fine, and it's I don't know if you guys picked up on this, but it seems as if there's like a hint of like a style of art they're trying to go for. Like it seems quite like roundy. I don't know.
Right. I do. No, I agree. It's funny you say that because I actually do agree with that. I think they've recognized that in the past their games have had kind of a blocky feel to them, and to an extent, that's again the consequence of I think they prioritize size of the world over the refinement of individual models within that world. So now maybe they're saying, you know what? Maybe we don't have to choose.
it really does look like the futuristic world view from a 50s perspective. If you watch like some of the old TV shows, like I can't remember, but like Buck Rogers of the 14th and a half century or whatever, 21st and a half century. If like I'm looking at that screenshot now where the Protectatron's there with the red crane, like all of his limbs are all round, the cars in the background, they're more round, and I like that they're going this way, and they've sort of come back, you know, like say if we said 100% was realism, I'd say they're trying to reach maybe 95.
Right.
And I like that because, again, with a bit of a stylized look, I mean, the opposite end of the spectrum is Borderlands, isn't it, where they go completely stylized.
Right.
And I do like that, and so I'm looking forward to seeing that more in a gameplay way where we're watching the character walk around and talk to people and stuff.
Yeah.
What do you think about transport in this game? Because there's quite a lot of transport, and even at the end of the trailer, you seem to be being carried. I don't know if that's you or it's just a random NPC, but somebody's being transported. You know, the camera's behind them. You see the helicopter go, you know, above everything. Do you think there's some sort of transport in the game?
That could be interesting. I mean, Bethesda, the only thing they've never done it in Fallout. Like, you've never had a vehicle of any kind. In the Elder Scrolls games, you have horses. And I think that the horses have given them some practice in moving the player character around. And I think they might do all right to try to sort that out in some way in this game. On the other hand, I think that it could easily get confusing, especially if they're trying to do VATS. You know what I mean? Like, would you be in a hovercraft and then be attacking using VATS, or would you only be able to do it real time? I think there's a lot of questions there. It's
an interesting point though, because like you said, Mike, like they've had it sort of there's a lot of transport in the pictures and stuff like that, and there are a lot of other open world games that do give the player a way to travel around quicker. Even Bethesda games like Skyrim and stuff, and
the little riding in the carts and stuff.
So I think that there might be a possibility of a fast travel thing. I don't know if it'll be purely like a horse or if it'll be like a murloc that you can tame or whatever. I don't know, but something that gets the player around would, I think.
What's a murloc? Is it one of those fucked up things that like have tentacles and shit?
Yeah, I think so. No, it's one of them things.
You know those weird little those little man crab things that they have.
Yes, those are the Mirelurks.
Mirelurks, that's it.
Oh yeah, the Mirelurks. If I could ride one of those, I think this would be game of the year for me.
I'll make a mod for that. You get it on PC.
Because then you could bash into other things with them, because that's their skills.
Yeah. Those are the freakiest things in the world for me. Like I remember in Fallout 3, anything else like robots and stuff that is creepy or whatever. I see one of those things, I just shit myself. Like I just
so different.
hate it.
I mean, even the ghouls are basically humans with melted faces, but the Mirelurks,
they're not that scary.
Crabs, and it's the mud crabs from the Elder Scrolls, but they stand up and scream at you.
Yeah, it's like someone dropped a nuke on Elder Scrolls and it just evolved.
Yeah, exactly.
The whole land.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to seeing. I mean, I know for a fact, and I only know this for a fact as an opinion, so it's an opinionated fact, that we're going to get like a half an hour gameplay walkthrough at E3, like we have with the other games.
Hell yeah, dude.
That'll happen at E3. So I think we'll be shown VATS, we'll be shown dialogue.
I want to actually watch.
Yeah, that's a good point, isn't it, dude? Like you're actually involved in E3 this year.
Exactly. Usually I
only for like 10 minutes.
Well, sure, but that's
I'm convinced. I'm convinced now that old Nemo knows exactly what he's talking about. I think he's just being a bit of a comedian, to be honest.
He was like, you should be ashamed for promoting this. It sounds vulgar.
Yeah, and then he says, where do I buy this? I will send you my bank details. I'm pretty sure he's joking. Very
old Nemo is.
Yeah, the other thing, there's something else that somebody said. Oh yes, DLC. So when you mentioned DLC, an exclusivity between consoles, do we think we're going to get this exclusive war? You know, Xbox One, you get the dog collar, and on the PlayStation, you get a dildo. Something.
As long as it's stupid, superficial stuff like that, it's fine. But once they start allowing, certain adventures on one and not on others, that I hate.
So that's the risk, isn't it? Because they've done that. They did that with Batman Arkham City. Yeah. You know, you couldn't be Catwoman on the Xbox unless you bought it and all sorts of stuff. I think I'd be really pissed because it's every moment in Fallout and every mission in Fallout is so precious to me. Like I love it, and I feel like it's so well done, and it's all sort of, it's just so much put into this sandbox of weirdness and exploration, if I can say it right. To take some of that away from me for profit is sort of a bit of a dick move. I think Bethesda, they don't need the money,
Right.
and B, like, it doesn't really do very well for them. But you could say that about the paid mods, I suppose, but they're still doing that.
I can see timed DLC exclusivity with Xbox again, because they had it with Fallout 3, they had it with Skyrim. I can't see them doing like different DLCs on different consoles. Like, I don't think they're gonna go as sick as like Batman Arkham Knight, where there's like I've lost count of how much shit you can get for that deal, in DLC. So I can see like there's this new expansion and it's going to be on the Xbox for 30 days before the PlayStation and PC. I can see that, but I can't see anything a bit more than that.
Ibble Wobble says, I hope it's not behind closed doors. I think what he means by there is that they have some sort of trailers and stuff that they show at E3 that's behind closed doors, which they only show journalists. I think this will be like headline act, main stage. Everybody will be able to see it. It's a full breakdown.
I think this is my prediction for E3, mate. I think, because I'm going to watch the conference, I think it's like 3 or 4 o'clock our time on the Sunday night. I've got the week off, the week after, because I'm going away, but...
Is it in the morning? 3 o'clock in the morning?
In the morning, yeah. It's 7 o'clock Pacific time. Done. I think they're going to literally, like, lights down, conference starts, Fallout 3 is the first thing they show. That's what I think.
Fallout
4, sorry, yeah. And then I think Doom after, but I think they're going to lead with Fallout 4.
I think they'll headline with Fallout 4. I think they'll finish it out. Yeah. I think, they'll show us Dishonored 2 or wherever, some shit like that, and they'll show us Doom and no one will care. And then they'll go, come on, hurry up. The car's on the meter. Just fucking mention Fallout 4 for me, and then we're good to go.
Drag it out.
We'll get a release date. We'll get some gameplay, and hopefully we'll get some more information about what changes they've made to the world and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, unless anybody has anything else, I think that does it.
No, I mean, I've watched the trailer about 9 times now. I don't think I can.
Yes. During the show, actually.
Yeah, during the show.
Running it. Yeah.
I think we've covered everything that we could.
Yes.
That we haven't already discussed.
Thank you all very much for joining us, and thank you, Chinny and Duke, or Chinny and Rich, whatever your name.
Duke.
He and I are so similar. That's the thing, is that, man. Anyway, so don't forget to tune in to the Gaming for the Elderly podcast, G4TE. Rich, what is your Twitter handle?
Big Bad Daddy with a 1 for an I.
Yes.
Because I'm elite.
Yeah, and don't forget to listen to the Veteran Gamers podcast. We'll be doing that live later on tonight. And
like 5 hours or something. We're going to be back on this Twitch channel doing another podcast.
We got to start at 7 because Stu's got to get up early or something tomorrow.
Oh, shit. Yeah, it's like 3 hours. Yeah, 2 hours.
It's like 3 hours from now. We'll be right back here. Chinny, how can people reach you?
They've reached me on Pigeon. They just tie a message to a pigeon and send it out, and it will get to me. Thank you very much.
Send a pigeon. All right, thanks for listening, everybody, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye.
Fallout 4 is a game.
Fallout
4.
It's all right now.
Boop.
War
never changes.
It's all over but the grind, and nobody's crying but me. Friends all over know I'm trying to forget about how much I care for you.